What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of How's It Going? Today we're going to be talking with Ladson Mills all about homeowners insurance.
Exciting.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to episode 9 of How's It Going? We had to take a week off due to potential hurricane.
Hurricane.
Yes, we did luck out and didn't get anything from it this time.
Yep.
But as always, I'm Bill.
I'm Ross.
And we're here with Ladson Mills from Ladson Mills Allstate on Johns Island.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be talking about insurance later on in the episode.
Yeah,
so
can't wait.
We've got him here so you can be prepared next time a storm does come and maybe hits us in North Carolina.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
or just information for your relatives that are in North Carolina that may have gotten hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
You have
Some fun stuff this week. Tomorrow is actually National Comic Book Day. I have a friend that's like a huge comic book fan. He goes down to the store in West Ashley, and he has like weekly subscriptions. I've never been like a huge comic book fan, but I would say that my favorite superhero,
Wonder Woman.
the new one for sure. For
Aquaman?
sure. No, I would say Superman just
Yeah.
because like he can beat up anyone.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what about you?
Ladson.
I'm Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Covers your face. It's great. It's
Do you like the
advantage.
remakes?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're okay. They're
Yeah.
okay. They're not as good as the older ones, but
Yeah.
make it
Controversial.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire.
I'm kind of a purist as well. I think we all are with this. I like
I'm
Batman.
gonna say Batman. I knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the money. He's got the money. The money.
Who's your Batman? At your age, who's your Batman? When you think of Batman,
Elon
different
Musk.
movie. Elon Musk. Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I think he is like a real Batman.
Okay.
Probably
No, that might be
is,
true.
yeah.
He is real Batman.
That
Now,
might be
actor
true.
Batman, Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
I don't know if anyone can.
I got to second that.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, that's good.
He is Batman.
Yeah, he is.
Look at everything he's doing. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, hey, here's some money. I'm gonna go to space.
Right.
Like,
I'm
who
gonna-
can say
The
that?
funny thing is,
Right.
like, he doesn't really give a crap. Like,
He
you know,
might
all of his
be-
investors
he's
get
like-
mad. He's like, whatever.
Batman, Iron Man.
I don't
Maybe
like
it's more
traffic.
Iron
I'm
Man.
going to dig a giant tunnel under LA for my car.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's-
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You'll need to come up with new insurance for that.
Yeah, I think he'll self-insure.
Yeah, I think he's good. And also on Friday is National Good Neighbor Day. So be nice to your neighbors. If you have an older neighbor, go over and cut her grass, or pay some kids to go cut it. That's usually what I would like
And if
to
they're
do.
not a good neighbor, just avoid them.
Right, right. So
Simple.
you don't have to pretend to be good.
I'm going to be careful with that one.
Yeah, you just
Good neighbor
moved,
thing, yeah.
right? You
I
just
did. I moved from Somerville to West Ashley.
and grew up in Seabrook,
Grew up
so
in
you've
Seabrook.
covered a lot of the
Yeah.
Low Country.
I
You've
have.
had a lot of good and bad neighbors.
Yeah, all good.
All good. All good.
Never had a neighbor I didn't like.
That's good.
And now your office is almost my neighbor.
It is.
Down the
Yeah,
street on
right.
Johns
Yeah,
Island.
come by anytime. You do. Stop
Yeah,
by.
with the taco door.
Yeah.
If you like tacos
Taco.
and you need insurance, he's got a taco door. You go outside and there's a little food truck that sells tacos.
Check it out. It's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's
Greatest thing in
awesome.
the world. 40 pounds in the last 3 weeks.
It's a hurricane, too.
Hurricane snacks.
Hurricane snacks.
Hurricane snacks.
All those memes are killing me.
Oh, I love
They're
it.
so
You
good.
see the one about fitting in the helicopter rescue bag?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
But we're glad that we were safe, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. We got a bunch of cool events going on this week. Sarah McLachlan is performing at the Performing Arts Center. So you can go and cry for the song with the puppies.
Is it
the
the
commercial?
No,
Yeah.
is that it?
Yeah, that's right. You can keep singing it.
I'm gonna open for her, actually.
Okay. Thursday is the 35th annual Moja Arts Festival. It is a Caribbean and African American arts festival. It runs through the 7th. So a lot of cool events going on all over town. A lot of them are free to get in. So good cultural event here. Up more towards your neck of the woods here.
Yeah, in Somerville.
Ross's.
Yep, on Sunday, Somerville Italian Fest, Hutchinson Square. I like carbs. So
I grew up Italian. I love carbs.
so anything that's like there was something on Facebook this week. They said like you're part Italian if you don't measure your seasonings and you just sprinkle until it's right. I was like, I think we're all like part Italian.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that might be fun to check out.
If you haven't been up, it's a good time. It's very good. They do a great job up there.
Some
Recommend
meatballs,
you check it out.
sausage, pasta, and more
Carbs.
pasta.
Carbs.
Yeah, carbs. Alright, so let's get into actually why we're here
Right.
with, again, Ladson Mills, with Ladson Mills Allstate on Johns Island. We're going to be talking about the differences between the insurances in case we do get a storm.
Right.
We have a lot of different natural disasters that come through here. Let's talk about hurricanes.
Okay.
Because we did just miss one.
It's fresh on our minds.
And it is a hot topic right now.
Right.
So what do people need to know to make sure that they're adequately prepared and insured if we do get a hurricane?
So the tough part around here, we see that there's a huge issue when people move down here from other places, which we have, a lot of people moving into the area, where the insurance, right, I know it's, what's the number? 30 a day or something.
It's like 43 or something.
But everybody moves down here from different parts of the country. They don't understand the way the insurance works because the deductibles a lot of other places are different. Particularly if you're moving from an inland location, not only is the cost a shock, but all the different, you're going from generally one deductible of say $1,000 to also now you've got three. You've got your all perils deductible, which really doesn't cover all perils. You've got a separate wind and hail deductible, which is anything, your afternoon thunderstorm. But then you've got the tropical cyclone, hurricane, named storm, different companies call it different things, deductible that goes into effect when we have these events here. And it can be pretty daunting to look at all that and try to figure it out.
And that goes by percentages, correct?
It is.
Yeah.
So you generally, you're going to see different things with different companies, but most of the time it's 2 to 5% is going to be the deductible for a named storm. And there's different types. You've got, if you have a tropical cyclone deductible, for instance, it's going to cover any named storm, a tropical storm or a hurricane. You'll see some companies do a straight hurricane deductible that's only a hurricane. And, it's kind of subjective when they decide, it hit you at 70, 76 or 80 miles an hour versus 65.
Mm-hmm.
But as you're shopping around, those are things you need to know, because if you find a company with a hurricane deductible, for the same price is a better option than one with just a tropical cyclone.
Okay.
That's a lot.
And then that percentage, what is that a percentage of?
Right, it's going to be a percentage of the home's replacement cost. So say your insurance is for $350,000 with the home. It's 2% of that number, not 2% of the damage, 2% of that number. So it can be a significant amount of money,
Whether it's a
if
full
you're not
rebuild
prepared.
or not.
Correct.
So a couple shingles,
Right.
don't make a claim because it's going to cost you.
You're going to make a claim and you're not going to get anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because it's going to be, if you're living, just do the math. If you've got a $500,000 home, which is not unusual in this area at all, for
Right.
Um,
Especially the ones that are going to get hit the hardest on
that's
the
true.
coast.
Yeah,
Exactly. You're looking at a significant amount of money for
Yeah.
the deductible, but that's the cost of living in paradise.
Yeah, I love it.
And we live where people vacation.
That's right.
We are vacation.
People want to move here
Named
for a
storms
reason.
want a
Yeah.
vacation here.
Yeah.
They want to camp out way too long.
Well, they seem to like North Carolina better, so.
Yeah. Could you explain maybe the difference in if you have flood insurance and how that kind of comes into play when a hurricane comes? Like, let's say you don't have tropical storm insurance, hurricane insurance, but you do have flood insurance. What's that
Right.
overlap?
So flood insurance is great. The two questions I get all the time are, am I covered in this rental car? And how does flood insurance work? So flood insurance is I know, ask me that all the time.
Makes sense.
That's-
Those would be my questions probably.
In particular, the last couple of weeks, we had a lot of questions about flood insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So flood insurance it's administered by FEMA. It's a federal policy. It's managed by FEMA. The rates are all standardized from the federal government. Allstate, in our situation, we service the policy. So you have the flood policy through us. It's our adjusters. We handle it. I handle it for you. But it's still all government regulations. So the easiest thing is to say flood insurance covers water that comes up from the ground. So if it's coming, whether it's from rainfall, tidal surge, anything like that, if it's coming up and it causes damage, then that's part of your flood insurance. If it falls from the ground, it's going to be covered. Or if it falls from the sky, yeah. If it falls from the sky, say a tree falls on the house, water comes into the house, that's covered under your homeowners insurance. Sudden pipe burst isn't considered a flood because that's part of the house.
Right.
But that's the biggest issues we see, and to be honest, there's a big misconception about flood insurance. We hear a lot, I'm not in a flood zone, I don't need flood insurance.
Right.
Everywhere around here is in a flood zone.
Right.
The definition
It's the
just tells
minimal,
you the
right.
likelihood.
Right.
So, for instance, there's two X zones. You hear this a lot. I'm not in a flood zone, I'm in an X zone. X zone, shaded.
You use the word zone.
Unshaded. Yeah,
Like,
zone.
I'm not in a zone. I'm in
Yeah.
X zone. I'm like, well,
You are.
everything. It's just the
Hashtag
amount of risk.
Exactly, and it's so an X zone ranges from you're above the 100 to 500 year floodplain to above the 500 year floodplain. Well, what we've heard the last couple of years, this is the 500 year flood, this is the 1,000 year flood. So a lot of people who didn't consider themselves in a floodplain have been hit in the last couple of years.
No, that's true.
Yeah, and then it just goes up from there. And I always recommend to my clients, even if you're in X,
Right.
you know, talk to your insurance agent, give Ladson a call,
Yeah.
and you know it's regulated, so everyone's going to charge the same for your house, and it's X is going to be the lowest cost.
It is right
and
now.
for what, $200-$300 a year?
It's gone up this year. It's up to about $450
$450
For
a
a
year.
year.
a year.
A year for that peace of mind of
Right.
we live at the coast, we get a lot of water.
We do, and that 450 is for max coverage. The max we can do is $250,000 for the replacement cost of the home, and $100,000 for your personal content. So that's the max coverage. So we can get that lower. But it's important to have a good agent, regardless of what the company's with, because when I get somebody who's in one of these zones that's on high ground, there's a lot of high ground around here. I'm going to go. I'm going to look at the house. I'm going to look at the the satellite photos. If you're on a retention pond, or we see a lot of these new developments. They have these big drainage ditches, these drainage cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Those things will flood fast,
Mhm.
and you may think you're in high ground, but if you're next to one of these ditches,
Yeah,
that
that's
thing
true.
fills up. You're in trouble. You're in trouble quick.
Yeah. So when you mentioned all other perils, which isn't
Yeah.
all other perils,
No,
so,
all perils.
that would cover tornadoes, because we did have a tornado a few years ago that
Wind and hail.
That's under
your
wind and hail.
Deductible. Wind and hail deductibles can be anywhere from, for us, it's a minimum of $2,500, or we can do 1 or 2%, whichever is low.
Okay.
But so all other perils is really fire mainly.
Okay.
Theft, sudden pipe burst, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fire's the big one.
fire, yeah. And then something we talked about that really surprised me is earthquake insurance.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Folder
we
with earthquake.
we have a folder on
Yeah.
earthquakes. And it caught me as a shock because we live in Charleston,
Right.
not Los Angeles.
Correct.
I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about
Oh, you did.
earthquakes.
Yeah.
And he brought that up. So explain to people a little bit about why they need to have earthquake insurance here in Charleston.
So to add on to everything else you have to worry
Because
about.
that's not an all other peril.
Right. A lot of companies will include an earthquake endorsement. Some it's a separate policy. It kind of depends on the company. Charleston is in a major earthquake zone. I mean, we're on a major fault. If you go pull up the U.S. Geological Survey's earthquake map, it's like dark red on all up and down the coast of California. A few little places in the middle of the country, and then Charleston. Charleston. And if you don't know this, dude, we had a big earthquake in 1886 here. I think it was over 7.0.
Years ago.
1886?
1886.
Yeah, I don't think I was here.
I think we're due.
We are every 100 years.
Yeah,
or so,
that's
they say.
right. Like,
So
we're approaching.
We're overdue.
Yeah, get your textbook and practice getting it on the table.
oh my gosh, yes.
Getting the
Those
holidays.
schools, yes,
Yes.
yes.
They're doing it at duck and cover. The schools are doing more and more of it now. Is that people start to realize, hey, look, this is something we need to worry about. But so earthquake insurance is it's different. It's a separate coverage, and this is one of those things. I call it kind of a teaser. A lot of companies will throw it on there and say, hey, look, we're going to cover you for earthquake. Now the deductibles for these are generally 10 to 15 to 20%. So now we're talking a real significant amount of money, and that goes along with just the risk. They're saying now that the chance is now 30% in the next 4 years of a major earthquake. Like it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
So one of the things I advise people is when you're looking for coverages to be real careful about that earthquake insurance, because I've got a couple here I just kind of wanted to show. I won't name the company. This is from one of our competitors. This is their earthquake coverage, one page. Right, that's one page.
One and done.
Yeah, it says essentially nothing. It gives some exclusions, like it excludes brick. A lot of policies exclude brick.
Interesting.
So that's one page. This is mine, and the one that I sell. I didn't print
That's
out all
more
the
than one
pages.
page.
This is, and I'll even it's 14 pages. 14 pages. So when it comes down, I mean, these are both policies that you can buy, but a significant difference in what's covered and what excluded and stuff like that. So this is probably one of the most misunderstood policies you can get because there's so much variation in what you can buy. But again, have a good agent. Have someone you can talk to about it who can get you what you need, because there may be circumstances where this is what is okay. But why pay for it if when you come and file a claim and they're like, oh well, not covered. So it's one of those things you really kind of have somebody you can trust to talk to about.
Yeah, totally. Is that too something? What would your advice be to people? Like, I know we were talking earlier, and it's like, let's say you see an Allstate billboard and you decide to call like corporate or whatever, versus just kind of reaching out to someone that's here local, because that's kind of the same with real estate, right? Like
Same thing,
we're here,
yeah.
boots on the ground, therefore that's why it's beneficial to use a local real estate agent.
Right.
Same with insurance, right?
I always recommend you have a local person, and they can represent any of the major companies. There's you got to be careful around here. There's a lot of very small companies that I was researching one the other day that was they do write a lot of policies around here. Based in Florida, has $150 million in assets. Like that's nothing. That's $500,000, $300,000 homes. So
that's one hurricane.
Right.
Exactly.
They're out of business if you don't put a claim in quick.
And if you're just blind shopping on price, you're not going to know that.
Right.
So it's important to get with an agent, someone who can look at your home and knows the area and knows where the areas of risks are. Particularly on something like flood. There's a lot of people that'll tell you, if you're in an X zone, you don't need flood insurance. Well,
right.
You need somebody who's going to go and actually know your area and know, hey, look, that area flooded 20 years ago.
Right, and you're local, so you
Local
know
guy, yeah.
what happens.
Yeah. 9th generation Charlestonian.
Wow.
Nine.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's probably not many people can claim
You
that.
were you
You don't
named
believe-
after Ladson?
I was thinking.
No,
Ladson
it was named
him.
after you.
Like that's his road, actually.
Yeah, my wife, if you're watching, I love you. I told her that as a joke, that it was named after my grandfather when we first met.
That's how you got
I thought
married.
it was a joke, and she took it seriously, and I was like, no.
She felt duped because she thought she was inheriting a fortune. Right.
Right, yeah.
Or
I
just a
wish.
road that backs up in traffic?
That's a booming area.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I won't
that's
bore
true.
you with the history of that, but yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, so-
That's awesome.
So, real quick about Ladson, kind of how we met. We met in a networking group, and we were just chatting. I didn't have any of my insurance through Allstate. And he said, just come on in. I had some questions for him, because I don't understand. That's not what we do.
No.
It's what you do.
Yeah.
And I brought into him my auto and my homeowner's insurance policy, and I said, what does this mean? What am I covered for? And, no pressure. He went over it, and he said, okay, I can do better on your car. He goes, right now, you've got great coverage for your home.
Right.
No pressure. He's like, he told me what to keep an eye on if something went up or something to come back to him. But that's why you're here with us now. Is he's trustworthy. He's one of my preferred that I recommend my clients to. Even if you have a question about your policy and you have one of those online insurances, print it up, give him a call. We'll put his number and email address at the end of this video
We'll tag
for
him in
you.
it, too.
And just give him a call. Go down, sit with him, grab some tacos, and taco about your insurance.
Oh,
Episode over.
that was good.
Episode
That was good. I like
I'm done.
I'm going to steal that. That's going on the website, right?
That's your new Facebook ad campaign right there.
Let's taco about your insurance. But he can translate it for you, because it's really not in English.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
not. It's very complicated. It's written by lawyers. It's no different than real estate contracts.
Yeah,
and stuff.
correct.
Right. The average person doesn't know that. And if they did, they wouldn't need you or me.
Correct.
Right.
But there's got to be an expert that gets into that. And like I said, I'm not going to sell you a policy. I'm not going to turn around and sell you a policy that I've got that's worse than what you've got.
Right.
Nobody's going to. But I appreciate coming by. We'll deal in some tacos and I'll answer your question whether you buy or not. I'll take care of it.
Yeah, and even if you're looking for a new home, we're working together. We can give him a call, and you can get your estimates on what your insurance could be on that particular home before you even write that
Yeah, because
contract.
that's going to affect. I mean, if you can buy the house, if you're up there and it's a tight budget, it's like
right. What's
right.
that flood zone? What's this? What's your full coverage?
Right.
To make sure you're protected, and you don't have to go less coverage to afford the home, because you can end up homeless.
Absolutely.
If,
Yeah,
a Florence hits us.
In tremendous differences in the rates based on, one of the reasons I ended up in West Ashley was because I wasn't going to buy insurance through a different company. And
What?
West Ashley is, go figure, right? Yeah. Make commission off my own policy. West Ashley, prices wise, was 25% of the cost of James Allen. So, I mean, a significant difference.
Sure.
It really can come down to the zip code. So if you're shopping, it can make a big difference.
And then I would assume inland more is even less.
Yes, if you get up to the upstate South Carolina, a policy here that's $2,000, it's $700.
Yeah.
But you don't live up there. It's cold.
That's right. Stay here.
They actually got more rain than us.
I know they got I called a buddy in Charlotte. He's like, it's pouring. I'm like,
We got a quarter of an
We
inch.
rained for
I'm
like.
walking out of
We
the
were very fortunate.
We were
because,
for sure.
You know, Wilmington and those other areas were not as fortunate. You know, our heart does go out to them.
Yeah, for sure.
If you need anything, we're here. He can answer questions. I know I've got some family and friends in North Carolina that might have insurance questions that you can answer for them. Again, we'll put his information at the end of this. He can refer to you as someone he knows up there if need be.
That's good.
So, all right. Well, I think that was a lot of great
Yeah,
information.
yeah.
Very relevant.
Also, a lot of information. I
Yeah.
hope I didn't drown you in it.
No.
Oh,
Is that
ground floods. Oh,
Now episode
Yeah.
is officially over. We're so punny today.
oh. All right. Well, everyone, thanks again for watching. I'm Bill,
I'm Ross.
I'm Ladson.
and have a wonderful day. Bye.
See ya. My peripherals.